first book I'm going to do is Ultimate Invasion #1. So this is Jonathan Hickman. He's back.
Are we going to spend the next hour on this now?
We got to go balls deep into this one issue. $8 for a comic, man. That's nuts. It is nuts.
It is.
I paid for it, but yeah. If it makes you feel any better.
When it's Jonathan Hickman, you kind of got to.
Yeah, because Hickman hadn't.
You kind of at least got to see at least see how it is and shit.
Yeah, because like I said, he rarely does not deliver. I mean, he normally delivers, and and it's always like some kind of huge payoff with it. So you kind of expect it to happen. Yeah. So the thing is with Jonathan Hickman, like I said, for those that don't know who Jonathan Hickman is, why the fuck you listen to this podcast? Because that's all we do is talk about Jonathan Hickman whenever he was doing something. He wrote the greatest arc on Fantastic Four. Wrote the greatest arc on the Avengers. Started to write the greatest arc on the X-Men.
He got me reading the X-Men, goddamn.
And you don't fuck with the X-Men.
And I hate the X-Men.
Right. But because Jonathan Hickman was on it, his run, he started on X-Men, to me, was about to be the greatest run of any Marvel comic ever. And then he left the book. Like, what the fuck? And so when he left the book, they just put a whole bunch of just mid-ass writers on there. And it was fine. It was cool. But Hickman,
he established a world and let everybody play in it, basically.
Right. He was doing the building blocks to his finishing point. Like, we were this close to greatness, Eli. We were this close. It just.
And even Hickman said, "Fuck the event." All right.
Now we got to set up the background for this. Like you say, you see half of this book. It looks like it's the Ultimates from the Ultimate Universe, and the other half is the Avengers, whatever like that, with the Maker. So this actually is following up with the Ultimate, but it really feels like a sequel to Secret Wars, which to me is Marvel's greatest comic event they've ever did. Not Infinity War, not Infinity Gauntlet, not Annihilation, not whatever you want to name. Secret Wars was the best thing Marvel.
Secret Wars 2015.
Secret Wars 2015. Best thing Marvel has ever done, written by Jonathan Hickman. And drawn by what's the guy's name? Brian Hitch. So that same creative team is back to do this. So I think we suck Hickman's dick enough. We can jump into it.
It deserves to be. Jonathan Hickman.
we fondled the balls enough. Let's keep going. All right, so it starts on chapter 1, Good Artist Copy. So so we start off and we're just gonna kind of get into it. We got these guys, these bad guys, these mercenaries. Basically what they're doing, they don't say it right then, but I'm just tell you what they're doing. They're going to break into damage control. And basically saying, okay, so how are we going to break into damage control? Okay, the leader of it says, okay, you see the front door of damage control? Like, yeah, we're going to walk through it. Like, what? Yeah, we're just going to walk through damage control. Like, they got all kind of guards and missiles and shit and internal artillery, stuff like that. How do we expect to do that? Don't worry about that. We got technology that we can get through that. But the main thing is not how we get in, it's how we get out what we came to get for. So they just do exactly what they said. They walk through the front door of damage control. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And these guys just start shooting, but they got these high-tech, futuristic weapons that just blast everybody away for this. So it ain't like regular shit. So they just blast.
Yeah, like shields and shit. Yeah, they're like shields that can withstand bullets and bombs and shit.
Yeah, like missiles and all this shit like that. And the missiles are shooting them. So he like throws a black hole grenade at it.
Yeah, like a grenade that opens up a black hole.
Yeah, a black hole, like a wormhole, like that. And then they hit the missiles. Yeah. And like that's it. So they get the key cards, to go into the room they're trying to get. And he was just like, what are you here for? He was like, what do you want? Like, I'm here for $1 billion. And he's like, this isn't a bank. He's like, yeah, I know. Bam. And then shoots him in the head. He's like, wait, you here for $1 billion? You didn't tell us about that. So they go in there and talk about the $1 billion. And they finally go in there. And basically they're saying the reason we're here is because we're here for a guy that's going to give us $1 billion if we can break him out of here. And they're like, so what's the code to get in there? And the code is 1610. And that right there is a dead giveaway because for those that know their history, 1610 is the designation for the Ultimate Universe. Which if you watch Spider-Verse, that was a designation for Miles' universe because he's from the Ultimate Universe also. Which we would talk about Miles Morales later on in this book also. So they go in there and they find just some naked guy there. So he said, I've been waiting for you guys. So they go, here, you brought what I asked for. And what did they pull out? The Maker's helmet. And he says, fantastic. So yes, this is the Maker. Why he's naked. So yeah, so we gotta explain who the Maker is for a second.
Yes.
So the Maker is alternate version, ultimate version, alternate version, evil version of Reed Richards' Mr. Fantastic. So it's like, what if Miss Fantastic was evil? Now, I didn't read the Ultimate Fantastic 4 run, but basically what happened. Miss Fantastic went evil in that run. And this is the Maker. So, yeah.
Well, yeah.
So
I'm just pulling this out of the ass. I mean, but it was the Council of Reeds, and there's like thousands of Reeds out there.
Right.
And one of them was evil, and that's the Maker.
I think most of them are evil. I think that's where Hickman. I think the way Hickman wrote, like most people, I think the one in the 616, like the main, like the Reed Richards we know, I think he's the only like halfway decent one. Even he's a piece of shit. You know? So yes. Anyway, the Maker tells everybody to take off their helmet. He's like, and he pulls out this thing in his head. So he like, yeah. Basically, what he said, the reason he got in contact with the guys, he's been locked up because they've been sending therapists in his room for like the last 2 weeks. So it took him that long to mentally break the therapist, to make them do his bidding, kind of like Joker and Harley Quinn, you know. So, like I said, he's Mr. Fantastic. If they probably sent in a female therapist, the rest is history. The magic he can do with his powers. So he sent he sent the therapist out there. The therapist recruited the mercenaries, and that's what they're here now. So, but the reason he got these particular mercenaries is because he wanted their genetic material so he could do this. Combine them all into one person as a clone of himself, while he just walks out the front door.
Yeah,
but nobody would know.
I could have always escaped.
Yeah,
but I need to escape without anybody knowing it.
Right.
So he needed a decoy, basically.
Right, but the thing was, since they switched one guy out, he knows it's not going to be a perfect genetic copy, which will fool 99.9% of the people that see it. But there's going to be one person that he knows that it won't fool, because it wouldn't fool him. So he knows it wouldn't fool Reed, and he walks out. So yeah, and that was the intro. That's how it started. Yeah,
that was like 20 pages too.
It was like 20 pages of just the intro. Now Marvel Comics presents, you know. So we go into it, and we'll go to the damage control.
We're getting our money's worth.
We're getting our money worth of book, so you can't complain. Like I said, it's a lengthy book, but you got your money's worth. So we go to the damage control. It's like 2 weeks later. We go to damage control. We got Black Panther with the War Dogs and Reed Richards there. And basically, this is the place that those mercenaries destroyed. They destroyed damage control. And Reed Richards just like, well, I'm going to play nice, child. I appreciate you coming here, because without you, I would have had no political backing behind me to get here. And Black Panther's like, what are you talking about, Reed? We both know that if you really wanted to get here and research shit, you could have did it if you wanted to. They're like, yeah, but I'm trying to play nice, which is the same shit that the Maker said in a few pages ago. So they're trying to show that these guys really ain't too different. You know, they're just too, just on the same pattern. So they go in there because he knew that the Maker was there. He looked at it, he was like, Reed, are you there? Are you really Reed? And that's when he like falls apart. He like, you can't tell by it now that you never could. They're like, oh shit. So the evil version of the smartest man in the world is running loose in the universe right now. What are we gonna do?
What the fuck is he doing? Yeah.
Right. What is he doing and why is he doing it? They can't figure it out. So meanwhile, we just cut to the Maker, and he just run around the Baxter building. You know, the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just there.
Franklin, is that he's like
yeah, Franklin sees
playing
him.
Video games or something.
Yeah, he's just like, damn it. He like, shh. I'll book it back with the last. He's just like, okay, Dad's going to the lab again, whatever. He just puts his handprint on that genetic code, you know, because he's Reed.
Yeah,
he just walking to Reed shit like it's nothing, you know. So and he basically looks into Reed shit and he's like, yeah. So he knows Reed has been up to some fucked up shit. He's like, okay, the fucked up shit Reed's been up to, I'm gonna just take it. You know? So yeah, so that's what happened. So next day they cut to Necropolis, and the last time we cut to Necropolis was when Jonathan Hickman was writing the New Avengers. And who was the star of the New Avengers? The Illuminati. The Illuminati is back. We haven't seen the Illuminati in like 6 years, maybe longer than that. And the reason they have gathered is because of the Maker has been stealing shit from every single one of them. Even stole the mutant Krakoan gates and stole from them. They're like, that's not how he did it.
Gate, yeah.
Yeah, he's not even a mutant. How the hell he steal that shit? You know, he did it because he's the Maker, you know. But I think
Terrigen Mist and
Terrigen Mist like that. And I think Maker knew how to do this shit because he hacked into Reed's files, and Reed knew how to do this shit already. So I think they don't flat out say it, but in my opinion, I think that's what they did. So and they're thinking the maker is purposely being sloppy, and he wants you to know he's stealing shit because he wants you to know what he's about to do. So, of course, they're the smartest minds in the world. They figure out what he's doing. Oh, but while they're doing that, the next day, we cut to Brooklyn, and we see Miles Morales sleeping. And we got the maker just jumping in his room. And, of course, Miles' spider sense goes off. He jumps on top of the ceiling, shit like that. And you're like, what the hell? And the maker's just like, why are you sleeping so easily, knowing that they took this universe with you, knowing this universe isn't yours, knowing this universe is fucked up, and saying all this $5 words to him and shit like that. He says, Miles Morales, I am your brother. Dun, dun, dun. He's not his brother. The reason he said that shit is because they're the only two survivors from 1610. So in a way, they're brothers
from that ultimate universe.
Yeah, because they're the only survivors. So he's just like,
for those who don't know, what happened in Secret Wars is like all the universe, the incursion or whatever the fuck, all the universes collided and got destroyed. But then God Doom.
Now you got to explain God Doom.
So, but that shit's dope. You guys,
that shit is dope as fuck. Yeah.
God Doom recreated a fucking new. Anyways, yeah, Miles and the Maker are the only two that from the Ultimate Universe that are left. So that's why he's calling them his brother, because they're
Yeah. So, but the main reason the Maker is here because he's like, look, I'm about to go back to the Ultimate Universe. And the only reason I'm here because since you're my brother, quotation, you're like, I feel like it's just common courtesy. I should, invite you back over there. Hey, you want to go home? You're like, no, I'm good. I don't want to go anywhere. You're like, okay, cool. Well, if you change your mind, here's my card. And he hands him a card and he teleports out of there. And the card is blank. Of course, we know there will be something later on, but it's Hickman. So we're going to be in suspense to find out what's on that card.
Next year, we'll find out what's on that card.
Exactly. It'll be the biggest plot twist. It'll blow everybody's mind like, oh, shit.
We'll bust all these nuts and shit.
Right. Meanwhile, the Illuminati has finally caught up with the Maker. And first I looked at the panel like, how the fuck are Professor X and Black Panther flying? Then I realized that Doctor Strange is levitating them. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, So they get there and the Maker like, okay, by the time y'all find out what it is, I was sloppy enough to find your clues. Y'all should have found me by now. And he was like, so what are you doing here? You're like, I'm going home. And when I go home, since I'm the Maker, I'm going to remake it in my image. And like, oh, and that's where the Krakoa gates came from. You can see the Krakoa gates right there.
Yeah.
All right. So, and Reed's like, oh shit, I know what he's about to do. Pour it on, stop him. So they just start Dragon Ball Z energy beam shooting everything they got in them, and the beam is so big you can see it from the skyline. And when it's all said and done, Maker's just like, okay, y'all good, y'all got out y'all system. So I'm gonna still walk through this gate. Y'all not stopping me. And eventually, maybe you could find out where I just went to. But as soon as I walk through this gate, I'm gonna purge my genetic file. So by the time y'all find out where I go, it's gonna take y'all decades to find out where I went to. The reason I wanted you here, because Reed, I want to ask you one question. If the situation was reversed, you had to do it all over again, would you erase me from existence? And Reed's just like, yes. And he was like, that's what I thought you'd say. Okay. See you later, asshole. See you at the Council of Reeds convention next time I see you. And the Illuminati just looks at him disappear, and they realize they can't go after him. I mean, by the time they get to him, it'll be like 20 years from now by the time they find him. So, and that's when we go to the epilogue. Great artist, Steel. Yeah. And it's pretty simple. We've cut back to Gwen Stacy and Peter Parker back in high school. They're teenagers, and they go into the science experiment where, Peter got his powers, and they're basically looking at it, and they see the genetic spider crawling down. The radioactive spider is right about to bite Peter. But before it bites him, boom, is caught by the Maker. We don't see his face all the time, but he catches the spider. He was like, oh, that was a good thing I caught it before it bit you. Or maybe I should have let it bite you just to see what had happened. But on second thought, maybe I should keep with me because this little thing has a lot of power and I need to be responsible with it. And so basically, the Maker went back in time in the Ultimate Universe, rewrote history to catch the radioactive spider to do God knows what. We will find out next issue.
Yeah,
maybe
is he going to let it bite him or what? Yeah, what's he going to do with it?
Make an army of Spider-Man? We don't know. It's not good. Yeah. Whatever it is, it's not good. We got a whole bunch of
something, yeah, because from what I understand, like Miles is going to be one of main characters of this series. So
right, because I mean, he got to be. I thought it was going to be like Miles was going to be like a portal to the Ultimate Universe, but I guess it wasn't that because he's already just hopped back over there. So, but yeah, but this is going to be a very Miles centric book also, as far as a Maker centric book. So, like I said, Hickman doesn't miss. He just doesn't. So this is here. It's like a 3-part story. It probably will have no ramification on the Marvel Universe whatsoever. I don't care. Just give me Hickman. just let me read it. I'm good. I'm fine. Everything can be, but yeah.
And what? And I'm gonna admit, I loved his Fantastic Four run. Holy shit! Wow, I did fall off of the Avengers shit, but I did read the Secret Wars event, which is awesome.
Now, did you? So you understood the Secret Wars event?
Yes.
Because you had to read all that Avengers shit just to understand what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, I was reading it, and then I fell. All that multiversal shit. I just fell off, and but when the Secret Wars started, yes, I read it, and I put the pieces together.
Okay.
But I did appreciate, what that was. I mean, just as a piece of like comic book storytelling, I think it's like on elevated. it's a modern
right. It's there, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's what I was worried when I first picked this up. I was like, oh shit, it's the Ultimate Universe shit, it's multiverses and shit. I got like exhausted already because you know how Hickman can drag shit out. Right. But after reading this first issue, I was like, no, this is.
And it's a pretty simple book. Like it wasn't like even his X-Men books had all this shit in them, all this words and text, and you had to read all these blurbs and stuff like that. This was just
tens and
this was
100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years, and like
right.
Yeah, this was like pretty straightforward,
Yeah. Like if you didn't know anything about it, you just read the story and you're good to go. Like a few stuff you got to know about the Ultimate Universe, but that's really about it.
Yeah, you really don't need to know that.
Yeah, you just need to know just that it exists. That's
that
all.
Existed. That Miles was from it. Him and Miles are from it.
Yeah, that's all you really need to know. Other than and you're up and running.
Yeah. So is your score? Is this a 5 out of 5?
I can't give it a 5 out of 5 yet. I can't give it a 5 out of 5 yet. I'm gonna say 4.5 out of 5. It is strong. But I got to see where it's going. I got to see where it's going. I'm into it. Don't get me wrong. I'm into it.
And this is only 4 issues.
No, I think it's 3.
No, oh really? Well, then that's even because you know how Hickman works,
right?
He takes.
It's the long game. He plays the long game. Yeah.
Yeah.